JASL After Dark. JASL After Dark. JASL After Dark. Okay, I'm talking at the day. At the night part. JASL After Dark. JASL After Dark. JASL After Dark. Okay, I'm talking at the day. At the night part.
Alright, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for another episode of JASL After Dark. I'm your host, Calvin. And we're excited to be back for Candid Conversations every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. right here on TikTok and Instagram. So, JASL After Dark is brought to you by Jamaica Aid Support for Life. And you can follow us. Follow us on all platforms. Just look for JASL. Type in JASL. Yeah, we did it. Tamar, what go on?
Well, I'm there with Jamar to release King here. JASL After Dark, more excitement. Can't wait to share. So, seeing that we're excited about tonight's discussion, we will be discussing the topic one burner lifestyle. I'm not talking about the one you buy in Azan. You probably need like two. I'm talking about you probably need two. I'm talking about being monogamous. And to share tonight's discussion, we have Pastor Norman Whyte, who will be telling us everything that we need to know about being a one burner. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Well, before we get into tonight's discussion, it's time for hot pot, you know?
I'm hungry. I want something juicy to eat. How are you in the pot?
It's time for Hot Pot.
Hot pot.
Hot Pot. Hot Pot.
No, sir. This catching
Hot Pot.
Alright, so there are some topics that are always interesting and somewhat controversial. So each week we dip into our hot pot for our topic to discuss. So this week we're going to invite our guest, Pastor Whyte, to dip in the pot and find something. We'll see what's cooking.
It's hot, but like Christ. It's a Hebrew boy.
So we can just read it now.
Yeah, dip in there, take it out, read it.
So we can read more now.
Yeah, but we'll start with one.
Read it, we discuss it, and we dip again.
Read it out loud for
So
us.
because we're discussing, so read it aloud. I will jump into it.
Alright, so Abby and Brittany Ansel or Disophilus conjoined twins and are a bloodstream, and share a bloodstream and all organs below the waist. Abby controls their right arm and leg. Brittany controls the left. It was announced recently that Abby got married. What do you think about such a marriage?
I mean, let's hear your perspective first.
I mean, we can't talk about marriage and we share our perspectives first. So we have Pastor in the house tonight.
Yeah, so let's hear your perspective. What do you feel about it? So conjoined twins, one head, one body, share below areas. What do you think was it?
Whoa. What a question.
What a question, yeah.
However, I mean, conjoined twins, they did not choose the way how, they were born. So, they have to get married, or they have sexual desires. So they share the one organ. It's confusing somewhat. I mean, but I believe they are one.
You believe they are one?
They are one.
As in all three are one? Or the two will get married are one?
Because one of them alone married,
Yeah.
The next one, there's only one of the twins them married and then the next one's still single.
One of the twins they married.
Yeah.
The next one still single.
Yeah, so she can't get married, sure.
So she can get married
Well,
too.
yeah, so we have to think about it.
Wow. That's a question.
That's a question.
What are we? Wow.
What a question.
What a question.
Wow. So two of them share the same husband, technically. Anyway.
Yeah.
Technically, so one married, the next one married.
But the only one married. Well,
Only one married.
it's a tricky situation.
It's a tricky.
Look at, for me, I
I mean,
we know
what's solve the problem.
only God can solve the problem, right? I know conjoined twins are very rare, but I don't see how that would work for me because especially, let me take myself out of the equation. Let's say I was one of the twins. When you and your husband do things, what me just pretend to me don't exist?
Read a book. Read a book and pray.
Read a book and
Read
pray.
a book and pray.
But she don't feel things too. Oh, she want to pray.
Pray against the temptation. I mean, it's not yours.
It's not
your
yours.
sister. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Pray away.
Yes.
The temptation.
Funny enough, my wife and I was watching
Mm-hmm.
the same exact thing
Mm-hmm.
a couple of days ago, you know. And we were wondering the same question, how would this work? I know tonight,
Yeah.
ask the same question.
How would this work?
Yeah.
Is that man still a one burner?
I see that.
Is it? I wonder, is he still a one burner?
Yeah.
I know you was going to ask that question.
You know, I just thought about it then.
Of course, the man a one burner.
You know, one burner.
Because they share one organ.
Share one organ. Okay.
They share one organ, you know. I mean, if they have a choice, say it's two organs, it's one organ. So the two twins,
Yeah.
the twin,
Mm-hmm.
I should say not twins, twin. They share the same organ.
Share the
So
same organ.
him the man have a
Have a
chance.
chance.
So
Why is that sticky situation? Tell you what,
It's
we're
just
going to dip in the hot pot again. We're going to dip in the hot
Because-
pot again.
What before we dip in there?
Alright,
Because
cool.
to it sticky is like
Mm-hmm.
you have to just omit the other person altogether and focus.
You don't think we could have done
I
that?
couldn't do it neither. We never go and we can't do it.
technically it would have scary because of two heads but one body.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's too scary for me.
I guess we will have them
It
stick a
doesn't
bush.
normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dip again.
Alright, dip again. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else is in there now.
Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, has announced the abolition of titles such as Woman Constable in favor of Constable as it moves to eliminate gender-specific references within its rank. Do you think this was necessary?
What do you say? What do you say? Do you think that was necessary? I was here about woman constable and this and that. Do you think that was necessary? What do you think, Pastor?
Honestly, I don't think it was necessary.
You don't think it was necessary?
Because a constable is a constable. Same powers, the same, duties they have to perform.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like other organizations that where a woman would get a different role from the male.
Mm-hmm.
They both perform the same duties.
Yeah.
I mean, if the male cop has to work for an extended period, the female cop work for an extended period,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be in the fields operation or behind the decks or
Mhm.
logistics, it's no different. The police force operates where both gender do the same job.
Mm-hmm.
So woman constable probably is just to make the women feel more important to say woman constable.
Well, that's how it was, That's how it
was.
has been, and they're removing the woman part. So every female constable is just a constable and not a woman constable anymore. So what you said in terms of a constable is a constable. That's the whole. That's what I'd say is the whole idea behind it. So there's no reason for you to say you call it. You don't say a male constable when you're referring to a man.
A man.
You don't say
So-
constable. So why you gonna say woman constable when you're referring to a woman? So I think the JCF removing those kinds of titles and ensuring that everything is the same right across the board. I think it really makes sense. I understand where it came from. The force used to be male dominated. Well, it's still male dominated, but it used to only be men. And when you bring in women now, you start to call them women constable, just like how nurses used to only be women. And then you have male nurse, and you call them male nurse. But you don't call them male nurse anymore, they're just nurse. And same, so it adjust constable. So I think it's a step in the right direction for the JCF. People might not think it's that important, but I think it's an important move.
And then it's really, as you said, just a concept is a concept. That's how I see it. It doesn't make any sense to like gender. What's it called? What put the right
Separate them,
Yeah, but
this part, yeah.
that. So I think it makes sense, to be honest. It does make sense.
Gender optimized.
Well, let us know, viewers. Let us know what you think. You think it makes sense to remove the woman or it don't matter. It don't change nothing. You can stay. And we want to hear what you think about the twin
The hands
situation.
is, yeah, man, if it's a one burn arm, just lucky. Alright, but of course, if you're just joining us, you are watching or listening to JASL After Dark, brought to you by the Jamaica Aid Support for Life, live on Instagram and on TikTok. Of course, you can definitely contact the Jamaica Aid Support for Life for free HIV and syphilis testing. Or, you know, if you're found to be living with HIV, contact us to start treatment. Alright?
Yes. And tonight, if you're just joining us once again, we have with us Pastor Norman Whyte, who will be sharing with us as we discuss one burner lifestyle. So, Pastor Norman, they call you Ghetto Priest, right?
Yes.
Why that name? Tell us about it.
Ghetto priest. Alright, ghetto priest came back, come from way back, you know, from I was in high school. You know, I was a young Christian who always I look out for the youths.
Yeah.
You know, I was always, I believe I was born a leader. You know, because from birth, my dad gave me some leadership names. Norman, he was the Premier of Jamaica. My middle name is Eisenhower, you know, he was a US president, also a US general in the army. So, I believe I just grew up to be this leader, you know, from high school days. You know, so persons around me in high school, I said, you know, say, always I look out for the youth, them, which name we can give? And one day the name come up, Ghetto Priest, and it stuck with me. And as I started my early ministry, you know, from age 16, you know, in the church, the youths among me, when I became youth president, and, you know, started preaching and so on, people say, Ghetto
From 16?
Priest. Yeah, from 16. So, yeah, Ghetto Priest from way back. And always I look out for the youths them, and always, you know, I tell them about Christ. So the priests come from the Christian part, you know, and ghetto because I grew up in a Spanish town, in inner city, and I always try to rise above the inner city and encourage the youth, say, hey, you know, through Christ we can stars and the limits.
Alright, I have a question for you. You say this all started at 16. 16, you don't feel like say you don't live no life yet, you know, see what go on out there. You don't feel like that is too early. You don't feel like the life you didn't have experience at the time.
No, you know, not in my mind, because, you know, when I got baptized at an early age, you know, not to make anybody feel guilty or try to force my religion or beliefs on anyone, right? But I got baptized at age 10, so I had a strong biblical foundation and spirituality growing up, so I always want more of Christ and pushing in the right direction, you know, spiritually, that is. So I always try to forsake the world. Yes, temptation come because them time the boy young and never look too bad and have some 6-pack and I like now when me have 1 pack. So yes, the girls always coming, and that was my greatest challenge. But through Christ I was able to ward them off. Make a 2 mistakes where you buck your foot. Yeah, but we never stayed down. We pretty much get up and, you know,
brush it off
and you know, get stronger. You learn from your mistakes. So certain mistakes so you make in your early teens, you know, make them again. You know what, 16 you just find yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you reach a point where you want to find who you are, your purpose in life, and you know, me realize say a man of God I wanted to be. And even now, even in my career, even in my military career, you know, they would tell you that I have more passion for ministry than anything else. You know, I'm good at my job, but ministry has always been the passion.
So it's then safe to say that it would be your commitment to Christ while you are committed to being monogamous, then, so to say, because that would have answered it. You have shown the world a kill flesh, as they would say, make a spirit man live. Definitely. So that would be the driving factor for you to remain in a monogamous lifestyle. Good?
Definitely.
Alright, so as you just spoke about, you know, growing up in Spanish town and all that, you know, them have the stigma where say youth from the ghetto, you're a man for have enough
Yeah,
girl and girl in a
yeah,
bungle.
yeah.
So you're saying no,
Yeah,
right?
jungle.
Yeah. So in a world where many entertain the idea of open relationships or multiple partners, what makes you committed to monogamy, being the one brother lifestyle? What makes you committed?
Because apart from the biblical aspects, I mean, I would have seen a lot of males, in the inner city have baby mother yaso, baby mother deso, and they really cannot be a father because you have picnic here, there, everywhere, and you can't really get to be in your child's life. You can't get to see when the child make the first step. You can't teach the child how to ride a bike, you can't just be a father because too much children and you can't care for them financially.
Yeah.
So I am always for having one wife, so you can keep the children under one umbrella, so you can properly care for them and raise them with the the proper values that you would want them to grow, so that our society can be a better society.
I agree.
You mentioned your military career, right? So them say soldier, them have enough woman.
Sure.
I know you might not.
Uniforms.
You might not. Many uniforms.
Uniform, yeah.
I know you might not ascribe that to yourself, but you feel like there's any truth to that.
I mean, there's a lot of truths to that, and if you should pretty much ask, my wife, first lady, the only lady.
She's not the first, she's the only.
Yeah, the first lady, the only lady. Should I tell you? I mean, she loves the uniform, and that was one of her attraction as well. She loved the uniform. Women in general love men in uniform. I mean, you don't lack attention. When you're wearing a uniform, you walk with pride because people are looking for you. You can feel the eyes and you feel important. But the God inside of me, don't allow me to stray. Me keep focus.
Tell us more about how your spiritual belief help you keep faithful, even despite all the attention we just talk about.
So, I don't know if you read the Bible a lot still, but the Holy Spirit, when you have the Holy Spirit, he that believeth and is baptized shall receive the gift of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit is that man who, is your inner conscience, which keeps you from doing wrong. It keeps you on the right path. So it's really the spirit man inside of me really guide me to keep me on that track. Because sometimes the temptation out there, because if you see a girl now and she's sexy, what you gonna do? You go close your eyes and you're not gonna walk past.
Turn your eyes upon Jesus.
Yeah. You pretty much see her and say yes, that young lady, she shape good, she look nice, but the long look will cause you to lust now.
You start,
that's where the problems come in. But as a man, it's okay to look and say, Kimberly look nice, she shape good, But the problems come in when you start use your eyes and take off our clothes and say, boy, I wonder how she looking at this and how she looking at that. And I believe I would have grown past that. And praise be to Jesus. Because there was a time when we do that in your teenage, I wonder, you're curious about sex, you're curious about how a woman stay. Yeah, we're not perfect. He that has no sin cast the first stone. But praise be to Jesus, he died for our sins and we ask for forgiveness and we grow spiritually. And now we are leaders in a Christ, so we have to make sure we walk circumspect.
And then again, remember, the Bible also tells you that greater is he that is within
us than he that is in the world.
Alright, let's go find a scripture.
So I definitely get that. But in your opinion, right, what are some of the benefits or reward for just being monogamous for you? Tell us.
So, like a man have a whole heap or a lot of females, a lot of baby mothers, as people that put it out there. It eliminates the baby mother drama. It keeps you focused on your goal. You and your partner or your wife per se can pretty much plan for the future, put some goals together. So we want to achieve this. So instead of you have to be spending child support here and there, you keep the money in one place, and it helps you to be more successful, one, and two, having a lot of girlfriends or a lot of woman or gal in a bungle, you know, you are more susceptible to STDs and sexual transmitted diseases. And also biblical side, you look on spiritually, when you have sex with somebody, you exchange spirit and the energy. You know, you wonder why some man does say them sad, so and some woman say them sad. You don't know the crosses or how much men should be with and take on those spirit and it pass on to you. So sticking to one woman, it pretty much helps me to be the better version of me.
Yeah.
For one example, I can tell you, when I was about to do my master's, I was saying 18 months too long. So I wanted to do a post-grad diploma, which would lasted 6 to 8 months. I was saying, this may I do. And she said, babe, a master's may I do, you know, so making two hours just do it together.
Yeah.
And then realized that we started the same time and we finished. No, she started 2 months before me. And she said, babe, I'm going to pause because I was in overseas at the time.
Okay.
I came back because she started in October and I was overseas. I was in the US, and she said, and the January we both, she paused. She just paused with me. And wait for me. And you know, we both finished together, and it was a good feeling. We could have discussed the different topics. We studied the same thing.
Okay.
Business administration. So we, you know, could have dialogue about the different topics and the tough questions, talk about them and so forth. So
one person there for give you that kind of support and direction.
And then the Bible rightly says it. He that findeth a wife
find it a good thing. You know,
and the good part is
you find a scripture.
that is not the sweet part. And obtain favor from God. So a lot of the favor when me are walking and people see I'm jealous right now. Because of the one wife, one. Yeah, one wife. And I mean, you know, men like to say, take a woman and call her your wife. You ever hear the saying? So you just take a woman and must say, boy, not wrong if you have 10 women, because the Bible says, take a woman and call her my wife.
Yeah, test the waters.
But then if you look on it, you never say take women. You never pluralize it. It was singular. Take a woman and call her your wife. So one woman and not women. So, you know, them try to twist the truth. A lot of people, the Bible is a thing where you can twist it, and morals, people twist morals and believe to suit their own
agenda.
Yeah,
Interpret it how they want to.
Yeah, so I mean, there are a lot of benefits, and if you look at it, you know, you can grow together. But every time you get the next woman, you have to learn her again. You know,
what's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color? What's your favorite dish? You know,
too much question.
And I realize that I wanna, she don't fit. Alright, you move on.
All over
and then I realize you left.
Yeah.
You grow old and lonely. You know, nobody if you grow with when you can lose teeth together. And you can get great together.
Yeah.
You know, you see like how me, you know, big son now, you know, we get Margaret together. That's all you get. You shed little. Yeah. So yeah.
So you're basically saying, so finding a woman, take a woman, call her your wife. I would then ask the question, then if you're that's going through the process just the same. So if you take that woman, you call your wife, and you find out after the fact that she's not pretty much my wife, how do you treat with that? Or what would you encourage someone who would have found himself in that situation?
So when you're about to get married, it's like buying a new car. So there's a process. And that process would have called you get the brochure about the car, and it shows you the specs of the car, and then if you like the specs of the car, you move to the sales agreement. Before you, after you sign the sales agreement, you must pay one deposit for them to secure that car for you. Because if you're a rich man, the car mark now will take 12 million just like that. You have to go show proof of funds and where the funds come from, and so it's a process. So with marriage, you go through a thing named premarital counseling.
So you now go test drive the car first to see if the specs are actually
no man,
true.
God, I mean, all good gifts comes from God. You know? I remember he says he doesn't have plans to harm you, but give you a hope,
Expected end.
a future, and some Bible say expected end, depending on the version. Yeah, it's a expected end. So God not gonna give you no riffraff. Some man to them not married and pussy in a back. But I mean, God give us choices, and sometimes when we step out of the will of God, you will find yourself, that. And then sometimes it's not pussy in a bag. You might marry a woman and she can, give birth, but probably God want to go through the process there for sure. You say, him a God, and you look 7 years later, one baby come, or 10 years later, one baby come, but you never wait the process, and then.
But in terms of like sexual fulfillment, the word puts in a bag.
Alright.
Say you married a woman and then you realize that she can't please you how you want it. How you deal with that? Because as a man, that aspect of you is very important to you. So what you do?
So you talk about that in a premarital counseling. My premarital counseling very open. So you ask the ladies, you ask the man what they like in a sex, and I encourage them to be truthful. Because if you come to my counseling and you have a liar, put up a false pretense, then it will hurt your marriage.
Yeah.
Because you never truthful, you gotta have some roadblocks in the marriage. So you talk about different position, you talk about what you like, sexually. So, in terms of some man love, say boy, the woman or the man too small or what have you. That's why you go a doctor, man. Doctor as well. You have to doctor apartheid to
So
encourage them to do a checkup to see if them compatible or them.
But question on the same thing you said. Remember, we the same new car analogy, the car fresh off of the car market. It never been driven before.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the specs are. Well, we know the specs were on paper, but we don't know what it can perform or what it can do. So in a situation like
The
that.
specs tell them, man. The
Yeah,
specs
but
tell them
if
what
you
the car can do.
So we are talking about somebody. That's because even in the same whole thing with Christianity, you encourage no premarital sex and all that. So if this person is a virgin and them don't know what they like sexually, and then it turn out so it not match up to what me want. How we deal with that?
That is good if the person are virgin, because now you can grow together, and then alright, she not like how the man perform or the man like how the woman perform. I mean, communication is key. So now she gonna say, don't say she just not like it or him saying he doesn't like it, but compromise and fix it. Yeah. So marriage or any relationship per se, you have to compromise at some point in time. But the man, in that case, there tell the woman what him like, the woman tell the man what he likes, or vice versa. The partner in general, and then no work at it because it's one not virgin. So
let me ask you this, Pastor, because I think other persons want to know, because you did say that your counseling is very open, and that is good. For somebody that's watching at home, and they must say, with the world that we're living in, people have them different preferences, whether orally, during their personal or private sphere. You encourage that within your sessions, counseling sessions?
Well, I mean,
like orals, and if they want to use toys and all that kind of what do you say to that?
So when it comes on to marriage, the bed is
undefiled.
You know what I mean? So in the confines of marriage,
yeah.
I mean, you oral, I talk about that in marriage, because you don't want the people get married and the lady said, this is not my fetish, And the man said, man, don't do them things there, Or the next partner said, don't do them things there, So and I encourage them to pretty much be honest.
Right.
Because when you get into the marriage, you and him and God alone in that, and the counsel not there anymore.
Yeah.
You can go back to him for, post-marital counseling, but how many of us or how many persons want after they're married, that is it. But I encourage them to come back like twice a year, but that is something I talk about.
Okay.
And it is encouraged that you talk about it. Because we are living in a world now where, people desires different things and getting creative with their sexual life and your bedroom, you go out there and tell a neighbor.
Exactly.
True. And then the reason why I asked, because we're living in a culture where it's still a taboo to the Christian community. Like, people talking about oral because it's of the devil. Oh my God, it's supposed to just be mama and papa style and
Missionary.
So to hear you say that, I just wanted to know, because you're a pastor, and of course, you have people who would respect what you say. So I'm just asking that to get it out, because it's a question that myself needed to know, and other persons I'm sure wanted to know about it. So that's what I'm asking.
It's a topic I'm not afraid to pretty much talk about, because think about it. If it's something that the lady or the partner likes before marriage, so they weren't practicing celibacy, so they experience intercourse and so on. And so if one partner cannot work with that, then why get married? They're going to have problems. So I am not there to choose what they should like or should not like, but I am there to facilitate you as a couple work together. And if you are not compatible, then you're just not compatible. I won't recommend marriage if you are not compatible.
Yeah. Well, marriage for a lot of persons, they might see it as, this final, this is the end. So how do you respond to the notion that monogamy might limit one's opportunities for experiencing the diversity and the excitement that life has to offer?
Well,
End of the road.
How it limits you? I don't think it limits you, and I don't, and I dismiss, the claim that it limits you, because, you and your partner can make, your marriage to be what you want it to be, or your sex life what you want it to be. Whatever you're going to get out there from a next person, you can have it within your marriage. You just have to be open.
What you want is the next person.
Open.
What you want is the next person.
Well, if you want a next person, then you can't have the best of both worlds when we think about marriage, because marriage is a holy union. The moments you can't serve two masters. And if you even have children, you realize that parents will tell us that them love one equally, but them love one.
We know this.
So even with the persons who say they have multiple partners, there's that one that they really love and have a special place in their heart.
A question that just came up to me though. The thing about a married couple introducing somebody else into the bedroom of both parties. So it's not infidelity because the both agreed to it, it was consensual. Is that okay?
That is not okay. I would never say that is okay.
Why is it not okay?
I would once you bring a third party within the marriage, it is not okay. Because
before we agree to it,
it is marriage is between you and God, and you pledge that. When you look in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, say the woman, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, I believe it's 28 thereabout. But 1 Corinthians chapter 7, you realize that, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, it tells you that the woman body belongs to the husband, and the husband body belongs to the wife. And when you're doing the marriage vow, you pledge that you will not share your body share yourself with nobody else.
forsaking all others.
Forsaking all others. So once you bring somebody in the marriage, it becomes wrong. And then you realize now, suppose you bring somebody in a marriage and the wife nobody like you, or the woman nobody, or your next partner just get attached to that person. What happens then? So it opens
for chaos.
For chaos then, in other words. or say open a can of worms, because you never bargain for this, and she like how the next partner like how the third person do things, and I say, boy, you realize now, every weekend the third person have to come. And I say, let's try somebody else. And he said, no, the third person. So you becomes obsolete right now. And you don't want that.
Right.
Don't want to grow together. Don't want to develop till all, you realize 10 years pass. You say, I never realized you guys did so brown. Because marriage is something that you always learn about the person.
Yeah.
No matter how long you're together, you're still. And sometimes, one of the things where we look outside, we have to start over the relationship sometimes. Go back to dating stage. I'm going to be creative, I'm going to be spontaneous. I mean, nobody likes the same thing 365 days out of the year.
Right, because
So that's one of the things why people look outside. You have to be creative. And it's not a 50-50, a 100-100. 100% each, not 50-50. So when you realize you start give 50-50, you're going to get bored. Why? Same thing in carry rose every Valentine's Day. Why the partner can't just do something different. So you keep them, you're always being creative, both of you. And then you'll keep your relationship interesting. So you always want more. Alright, what the partner will do next year? And right now my wife already, I think, but what me I do for birthday every year, most years we go hotel or surprise her, I work with a gift for her. Right now she I think what me I do for her birthday. She never get bored.
Never get bored. Okay, so what's the general advice then in terms of how do you keep the flame alive even after all this time and maintain excitement?
As I said, just being spontaneous and creative.
Spontaneous and creative.
Yeah, you have to, and then the female species is different from that of the male species. They are always changing. Always changing. So, them not stay constant. In them 20s, they are this person. 30s, so you realize them always change. And, some people in general is like that. So you have to pay keen attention to your partner in general to see when, there's a shift or there's a change. And, you realize, hey, me I slack off. You know when you slack off because, you can feel the energy.
Right.
You can feel the energy, You reach a stage where you stop, tell the person so them look nice, you like them, them outfit or, you just slack off, so you know when something wrong.
I see that. Alright, so have you encountered any misconception, about monogamy in your community, Christian community altogether? Have you ever encountered any of those?
Misconception.
I don't say Christian, but within the church, persons who, because not everybody come to your church are Christian, right? At some point they get converted. So,
That's true.
any misconception there?
Well, not in my home church, but last week I was discussing with somebody how I was working with, one of my coworkers, and he was dating a Christian girl, and both of them agree, said, no pussy in a bag, no married, no pussy in a bag. I was taken aback, coming from a Christian girl. Normally the man I say, hey, we don't want no pussy in a bag, But he concur with her still, but she was the one who put it forward, saying she want to know where she work with. She want to know where she work with. And there are a lot of Christians out there, but that is from the pit of hell, man. Because God never give nothing good. We're not good. Sorry. We're not
Because
good.
all good things come from above.
Yeah, man. All good things come from, from God himself.
So I just yes, that person they just defy it and step out of the way because you would have already
Lack of faith, man. Remember, I say faith, faith is not something that you can see. Hebrews 11 says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Yeah, man, the food not share, but it's sweet already, man.
You just have to trust the process.
Yeah, man.
And then you have to ask God for something, why you not believe someone get something good done?
But, alright, if you think about it, whether you're a Christian or not, how many of us prayed even if you don't believe in a Jesus or God, but you pray to a supreme being. And even if you say you're an atheist, you must say, boy, Lord God, more on the job there, and I want a job interview or something, a big mark in your life. You speak to somebody higher than your being to get that or to help you get that. And always deliver. Never fails. Wrong or right?
Yeah, true.
Right,
Because
right.
I remember what scripture tell us, say, you never sense to ask him and don't believe because you have a waver in your faith.
Yeah, lack of faith. You know, without faith it's impossible to please God. So,
Well, over time. So what if after marriage now and all of that, the sexual desires change? Right? So yes, at the beginning we're there on the same page, we're we're there on the same level, everything are going just as we like it. But what if the sexual desires change?
and that's where the counseling comes in. If you cannot handle it by yourself, because that will happen. That will happen from time to time, where it does remain constant, because it can be hormone problems. It can be that one partner just become lackluster, or just a carry out emotion. Not paying attention to the other partner, and one partner just not pleased with what go on, and then they're not communicating, say, boy, I don't like this no more, So you feel like you do something good,
All this time.
but the next partner don't like it.
Yeah.
And just remain silent, expecting that you should observe the changes. But you get so comfortable, you enjoy yourself, and the next partner just did it. You not even realize that the partner not react as how they used to be, because you got so comfortable within that relationship. So communication are the key, and when you realize now through communication that you miss the mark, if you cannot handle it, go back to the counselor, man. Seek professional help, because that helps too. But a lot, you realize that sometimes one partner wants it and the next partner says, I'm not tell nobody my problem.
Yeah.
But the good thing about seeking professional help, you won't hear business around the corner tomorrow morning.
Right.
Because you have to maintain confidentiality as a counselor and as a pastor per se. So, don't go to Miss Jane or Shane around the corner and tell him your problems, because you might hear it later down, and it just makes the situation worse.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to individuals who are struggling with the tension between the desire for variety and the commitment to monogamy in the relationship? They want something else, but they also want to stick to the one person. What advice I give to them?
The advice that I'll give to them is look for the variety in the person, turn them in how you want them to be. Because if you go out there, suppose you go out there and catch a STI or a sexual transmitted disease, you can't say, if me did know, you have to live with those mistakes for the rest of your life. Nobody give a sure if you're unsure. So for those who don't believe in the biblical aspect of it, I would say, hey, don't give a sure if you're unsure. You don't know what is out there, but you know what they are so, and you know what you want. So if you want her to dress like whatever, for argument's sake, a lot of people have killed me for this. If you want your wife dressed like a stripper, she dress like that in the bedroom for you, because the confines of your bedroom, not outer road, but in the bedroom. So you make she be what, or your partner be, who you want them to be. You want to talk about it, discuss it, and of course, you don't have to agree. And if you love your partner, you have to agree.
And compromise.
You have to agree.
You mentioned the thing, STIs and prevention. I know in the church, talking about sex in general is taboo. So how do you advocate around for regular STI testing and prevention and all of that, as maintaining overall health? How do you advocate for that in your church community?
Well, For me, I have a close relationship with my young people. It's a small church with 72 members, and you know, about quarter of the population is young people and children. So, you know, most of them are grown people, married people, you know, older people who, you know, for the most part, acts responsible. But I have regular talks with the young people. Just started a men's ministry in mentoring young men. We want to do a health fair. So, you know, people like, you know, this society who has been, you know, making an indelible mark in society, you know, should come down to Milk River, you know, and sensitize not just the church, but through a, you know, a whole health fair day, sensitize the people about, you know, the different diseases and how they can protect themselves, and those who already contracted, you know, certain disease and STI, how they can achieve treatment, because it's a rural area, and you know, some people really don't have the finances, even if they should cut such thing, you know, to really purchase those medications. If they know about this society, it would be a good thing. And we are in talks with different health facilities in pulling off a health fair. I'm pretty new to that church, just little under 2 years. Last year we tried the health fair, but because of lack of funding and sponsors and people coming on board, so I hope.
Wasn't as grand as you wanted?
No, we tried, but it didn't materialize. Because of lack of, you know, funding and sponsors and so forth. But I am optimistic about this year that we will get some sponsors and probably this organization coming on board and pretty much assisting us to.
Well,
it's a shameless plug.
And it is not denied. And on that note, if you're just joining us, you're watching JASL After Dark, brought to you by the Jamaica AIDS Support for Life, live on Instagram and on TikTok. And of course, you can always contact us for free HIV and the syphilis testing. And if you're found to be living with HIV, you can contact us as well to start treatment.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what advice then would you offer to couples to on prioritizing sexual health and STD prevention while embracing monogamy in their relationship?
Repeat the question.
What advice would you offer to couples on prioritizing sexual health and STD prevention while maintaining monogamy in their relationship?
Well, if they stay within the marriage, then you know you're not going to contract any STIs. You know what I mean? But sexual health, you know, break that down a little bit more. What you thinking about?
Well, when we talk about sexual health, we're talking everything as it relates to your sexual parts, and in terms of getting checkups, the whole thing about STI prevention, and everything as it relates to your sexual organs.
Well, I encourage my you know, post-marital counseling, regular doctor checkup and proper hygiene, because you know hygiene has a lot to do with sex as well. Because if your partner is not a hygienic person, you can catch something of the sort. If it's even a yeast infection. So proper hygiene is key in practicing sexual health, and visit the doctor, because I mean it can be even a simple urinary tract infection or so, you know.
You said post. Is it post or pre? Post. So why not before?
We do it before, but since he said marriage couples.
Okay.
So
because then also, you know, before you get into that aspect of marriage, I think it's also safe to have an understanding of what you're going into and be open about, you know, them checkups and them kind of vibe, as you're locked in for life to let those part.
Yes, man. So it is imperative that you discuss that and highlight that, because, excuse me. You know, sometimes if the person pretty much young, you know, oblivious as to what a relationship really is, you know, you as the counselor, it is your job to touch on every single aspect, exhaust as much as you can, you know, because as if the person is experienced now, sometimes you realize they want to ask you, the counselor, some questions, as opposed to somebody now who is a novice to a relationship, young and not so much exposed. You know, they'll just sit there and say, you, the counselor, have to drag some things out of them and ensure that they understand what they're getting themselves into.
And as you mentioned, understanding what they get themselves into. Do you, I see a question on social media, they're asking, Pastor, do you encourage health checkups and tests in premarital counseling?
Definitely, definitely. You just asked the question. Definitely. As I said, my marriage counseling, my premarital counseling is open. We discuss everything. Even this thing where, you know, for those men who say, boy, they're highly sexed and want to run the stoplight, you have to discuss that. Because there are persons who pretty much run the stoplight because they can't wait. And I mean, if you look on biology, the woman that is at time when she feels she's on heat, especially when it's close to finish. So if it's a lady with 7 days, by the time she reaches 4 or 5 days, she on heat. If it's a 3 day or 4 day lady, by second day, she just depend on heat. So how do you deal with a situation like that? You have to discuss stuff like these, so that when you go in a marriage, no surprises, you know, say, well, she don't like that, or you know, say she like that, or him, depending on, you know what your partner likes.
You did also say that, you know, there are like quarter church members, like young folks. Do you engage them on these conversations, like monogamy and stuff like that? Because, you know, we young and they never find a way to come get work. Them say they never get eyeglass work.
In terms of my young people, yes. The older persons, I try to focus on, you know, keeping their marriage together. Because some people don't believe in growing apart. But sometimes your marriage grew apart. And you have to try to steer it back on track. So for the older folks, most of them married, most of them are widows and so on. So they don't really have that, you know, desire to get in a relationship again. But I try with the young people. I mean, I am one pastor who is approachable. And I mean, it's a Christian boy for nice in a Christ. So I'm fashionable, I wear nice things and me trendy, that doesn't take away from my spirituality and you know, me being an upstanding leader. And that's one of the things that draw young people to me. They can relate to me and you know, I mean, my young girls in the church, them come and them talk to me about some things and I have to point them to my wife. I feel like I really cheat with certain things. So that's so, you know, they trust me and pretty much come to me for advice. So we have a good relationship in terms of, because I have a young lady, she's like my daughter, you know, every single step, you know, she pretty much call me and whatever big decisions she wants to make in her life, even with her relationship and all of that. And, you know, I try not to be the third person in any of them relationship though. I try to let them understand that while I will give my honest opinion, I'm just here to facilitate a good relationship.
I have a question, and as a young person, I want to know, is it okay if I look at the goods but I don't sample it? So as a young person, I want to, you know, save the sex till marriage. Is it okay if I look at the goods if you and sample it?
Yeah, but you see, you know, if you put butter in a post more, because what happens when you put butter in a post more? You might go lick it. So, I mean, it's not good to put yourself in temptation. So I will tell them to refrain from looking at the goods. Because you see the goods and the goods look pretty and you want the goods now. You go and sleep and when you look at it, it's a dream about the goods. You don't stop think about the goods and you know everything starting at the mind. So the lust developing at the mind. And then normally you just hold hands, but this time you walk her home and you go a little further. Then you go a little further.
And then pull the door for her, man, and make sure she go in and then go in.
And then before you realize it, you sample the goods. And because you start sample the goods, you stop thinking about marriage. And we don't get the prize already. We don't need to marry no more. Because, I mean, what
more is there?
What's special there?
What's more to get? Because I already know what is there. So there is nothing to look forward to into marriage anymore. Because you say, alright, we live together now. You realize after sampling the goods, you don't feel obligated. So we can start life. We can probably one partner, parents, if they live with parents, or they live with family members, or whatever, or for whatever reason, they feel like we need to live in one space now, because we're gonna get married anyway.
Yeah.
So we start living together, and before you know it, marriage out the door. You don't think go married again.
So it would never. So what you're saying is then safe to say it was never about marriage in the first place, but about getting what was there.
I wouldn't say it is never about marriage in the first place, but what happened is that they got distracted by the wrong things, and then it just kick out marriage out of the picture.
Final question to you, Pastor. Do you encourage courting multiple people at once? Do you?
I don't see anything wrong with that, because don't get the notion that courting means that you're going to be sexually involved or having intercourse. So courting or dating. Courting is when you pretty much realize say, you like that person and this is the person. So I believe I dating you want to say.
Alright, dating. So
you can date. You can date through somebody, because I mean we're not serious, but you must establish that we not reach this yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But getting to know each other, we are going to see what going on. But when it becomes wrong, when you date through somebody and the person believes that they're in a deep relationship, but you in your mind and say, boy, I'm just a date. I'm just a date, because that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So in Jamaica, it's not cultured like that.
No, we're not cultured to date.
We're not cultured to date.
No.
We're really not cultured to date.
See me like you, we'll talk with them.
Yeah, with it. See me like you.
We'll talk with them.
Alright, with it. So even if one partner decides it's just dating, if you see her talk to Kimberly around the corner, then you realize she vexed. You should not do that and so forth. But it's something I believe that we should encourage in our culture, because not because I like how she look or a certain person look,
Like
then it is your partner. I believe you need to spend time around each other. In open air, that is, not behind closed door. So you can get to know the person. Their likes, their dislikes, because a person can pretend for just a little while. But for 6 months, they're going to pretend for 6 months, they're going to make mistake at some point. So dating is very good, and I encourage dating.
Absolutely.
Godly and holy dating.
Well. We're out of time. I mean, we could go and we can go, especially dating, that can be a whole conversation by itself. I want to thank you so much, Pastor Norman Whyte, for joining us tonight on JASL After Dark. We talk about one burner lifestyle. Thank you so much for being with us. It was a definitely insightful conversation. Definitely feel like we learned some things about the one burner lifestyle.
You answer a few questions I'm having on my head still, and for that I'm grateful. You know what I mean? But also, Calvin, we can't talk another day.
Yeah, we talk after that.
Yeah.
So I want to remind our viewers that JASL JASL, we provide free HIV and syphilis testing. You can always give us a call, 925-0021. That's 925-0021. Or just message us on any of our social media platforms. Until next week, thanks for being with us again. See you next week for another episode of JASL After Dark. Later.